It's 12 o'clock.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon, it's Thursday, July 24, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help and the stigma on the news this afternoon. Ahoda East CSO Chief of Staff denied facing attempted murder charges over assault on administrator. Port Harcourt socialite Seymour apologizes, offers settlement after viral assault claims by 5 women. UN to suspend flood aid in northeast Nigeria over funding shortfall. On the foreign scene, plane carrying about 50 people crashes in Russia. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele with the news. Now, the Ahoda East Chief Security Officer Hector Kaketa and Chief of Staff Aloni Olodi say they were not charged with attempted murder, contrary to some report. Recall that the Rivers State Police Command declared the CSO to Ahoda East local government area, Hector Kaketa, and the Chief of Staff, Mr. Aloni Olodi, wanted following the violent attack on the sole administrator of Ahoda East, Mr. Goodluck Ihanacho, on June 20th, 2025 at the Council Secretariat. But speaking to our correspondent in Mekotoka, their lawyer, Innocent Wood, clarified that his clients are facing 6 charges of criminal conspiracy, malicious damage, stealing, assault occasioning harm, and other misdemeanors based on a police investigation. He said a Port Harcourt Magistrate Court has granted both men bail at 2 million naira each, with 2 sureties in like sum.
The criminal charge level against them are available. They are triable by the magistrate court, and the magistrate court adjourned from that 17th of July to 23rd, being today, for bail consideration. And today, the court, after considering the bail application we made on their behalf on the 17th of July, deemed it fit to grant them bail, and that bail is subsisting. So, for any person to say that the criminal charges level against them were dropped, the person is speaking out of malice. That's the gospel truth. The person is speaking out of malice because the criminal charges has not been dropped. They were admitted to bail in the sum of 2 million naira with 2 sureties each in the like sum.
The lawyer also said the matter has been adjourned to August 7 for a hearing on the 6-count charges.
The criminal charges has not been dropped. In fact, we have taken another date, 7th of August, for hearing of the criminal trial against them. So they are still standing trial as we speak.
Well, in another development, Port Harcourt socialite Ikechi Madoba, popularly known as Seymour, has reached a private settlement with the 5 women who accused him of assault at a nightclub in the city. The women, Innocent Stellerman, Juliet Obasi, Jennifer Chidebere, Antonia Okoye, and Onwaha Olomachi, had filed a complaint after the nightclub incident blew up on social media. But when the case was called up in court, their lawyer, Cyrus Ono, informed the magistrate that Seymour had apologized and proposed a financial settlement, which his client accepted. Following this, the women filed an affidavit of withdrawal, and the case was subsequently struck out by Magistrate Buzuge Kobani. Now, the lady's lawyer spoke to a correspondent on this.
So the defendant reached out to my client. He was contrite, showed contrition, made apologies, reached out to the families of the nominal complainant, and also made a settlement, also made an offer, a financial settlement, of course. So it was consequent upon that fact that the girls agreed to resolve the matter. So the defendant in question learned his lessons, and that should be an example to everyone tested. Be whoever you are, how high you may think you are. The law, the hands of the law is not that short, can bring you down if you've heard. So that should be the lesson everyone person should learn from this story.
Seymour's lawyer declined to comment. Now, analysts have described the ongoing public hearings on constitutional review across the country's geopolitical zones as a waste of public funds. An electoral reform advocate, Eze Nwanwagu, said the National Assembly should revisit the recommendations from the previous constitutional reviews rather than embarking on another round.
Must you amend your constitution in every legislative period? The 8th Assembly did constitutional amendment. What were the reports that they garnered? Let us talk about the cost. What does it cost us every legislative session for people to claim that they are amending the constitution, why don't they go back to the last report that have dealt with the issue of devolution, the issue of autonomy? All of those issues have been dealt with in those reports. Why do you need to come back in every legislative session? You budget about 4 billion naira.
Nwagu, who is also the executive director of the Peer Advocacy and Advancement Center, said in an interview with correspondent Yobi Oruware that the various regional demands for the creation of new states are unrealistic.
Amendment. What were the reports that they garnered on state creation? Is state creation not is it not clearly put in the constitution how a state can be created? If you want states created, you reduce the conditions that you have put that makes it difficult for states to be created. How do you make argument for state creation? You say you are self-sufficient, that you have the resources to be on your own. But if the idea of state creation is so that you can join a collecting of allocations, then it's a misplaced issue.
On his part, Lagos-based political analyst Libros Oshoma spoke about why each region is pushing for the creation of more states.
This constitution cannot bring a state. Section 8 of the constitution is very cumbersome in as far as state creation is concerned. Even the states already created are not viable. So even if you create more, as long as you are having this feeding bottle arrangement where everybody goes to Abuja to collect revenue, it will not solve we're even talking about minimum wage and the state campaign. We're talking about state creation. It will not solve our problem. That is why everybody now wants their village to become it. Every region will sit back and look inward because it will generate their revenue there. So you don't have to run to Abuja for somebody in Abuja to give you money that was generated from your region.
Oshoma also questioned the necessity of conducting a fresh constitutional review.
These same people, while they were in opposition, they told us that we don't need a constitutional amendment. But what we need was to go back to the region and practice a fiscal federalism where the region will be autonomous and generate their own revenue to service. Today now they are in government and they are the ones now doing what they once criticized. And there is revenue for it. So there's need to use that revenue. The opinion of people, what people suggested were completely jettisoned and they did what they wanted. Until we go back to fiscal federalism, Nigerian constitutional amendment is federation in need of federalism.
Similarly, the executive director of the Clean Foundation, Saluddin Hashim, said the exercise primarily serves the interests of the political class. According to him, the failure to uphold the principles of fiscal federalism is fueling the agitation for the creation of new states, which reflect broader dissatisfaction with the current system.
Because the states we currently have are not even viable. Most of the states, what is the audits that and the visibility reports that suggest that functional? Those states don't even have adequate asset enough to share amongst the additional creation. That attempts to do things like this will only create new minorities. I don't think that is the way to go. Rather, I think we should harness resources and make those states to be viable and address the needs of the people. On fiscal federalism, yes, I think there is already an attempt with the local government autonomy, with the autonomy for the State House of Assembly.
Away from that, the All Progressive Congress APC says its National Executive Council meeting will now be held at the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa at 2 p.m. The change of venue of the meeting, originally scheduled for the party's National Secretariat in Abuja, was announced in a statement issued by the APC National Publicity Secretary Felix Morka. He said that the change of the meeting venue is due to logistic reasons. Meanwhile, governors elected under the All Progressives Congress APC yesterday held a closed-door meeting in Abuja. The meeting took place at the lodge of Imo State Governor and Chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Hope Uzodinma. Away from that, residents of GRA Phase 3, particularly Woji and Evo Road, say the height of flash floods in the area on rainy days is alarming. Now, they told our correspondent that flood water often finds its way into their homes. They wondered why a government residential area is affected by such a magnitude of flash flood. They urged the Rivers State government to properly channel drainages in the area and distill the canal along Amechi Drive in GRA.
When we come like this, water flood will full everywhere. So people will not stay here, just find where and go inside and stay till the rain finish. And the flood, the water will go inside before we start coming out and sell again. So people house water, they enter plenty. If government come, because the gutter where they here no too they deep. If they come, they do the gutter where the water will go inside.
When once there is a rainfall in Port Harcourt, it can pass here. But if they can do something about it, there's a canal somewhere here. Channel all the drainage to that place. I think this is a GRA, it's not kind of business area. If government can help, I'm turning these things into this canal, as Amechi Drive, to be nice.
They need to raise the gutter. I believe the gutter is not deep enough. Raise the road. The road is very down.
They will not see anywhere to put legs. Some people scared of maybe to enter gutter. Flood is too much.
Still to come, UN to suspend food aid in northeast Nigeria over funding shortfall. Stay with us. It's been exactly 60 days since the management of Port Harcourt Refinery Company announced a turnaround maintenance and promised to resume operations after 30 days. Concerned over the delay in resuming operations, some stakeholders in the oil and gas sector have called on President Bola Tinubu and the management of NNPCL to urgently intervene. One of them, Sonny Mbe, said all that is needed is political will for the Port Harcourt Refinery to work because it is almost ready for production.
Plant hasn't come up. The Area 1 and Area 2 plant is still lying there. It hasn't come up. The Unit 12 and Unit 14 that was supposed to be blending the reformate and further cracking or blending of naphtha to produce PMS is not ready. The LPG plant is not ready. These are what they were supposed to have handled within the short period that they intended to shut down. So we are worried because community has keyed into this vision of President Bola Tinubu and his desire to make these refineries work. Up to today, we don't know what's going on.
Another marketer, Emmanuel Inimba, spoke on this.
Bringing this matter to the attention of the Minister of State of Petroleum, Oil, and the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC. Ensure timely funding for contract execution to facilitate project completion and prevent further delay. We advocate that the old Port Harcourt Refinery, which is Area 5, commences production by early August 2025 to revitalize the economy and alleviate the suffering of our people. Ensure a stable crude oil supply for refinery startup to prevent further disruption and guarantee sustainable operations.
Now, a large stockpile of industrial chemicals believed to be capable of producing explosives has been discovered and sealed by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, in Kano State. The facility, located in Kwakwachi within Fage local government area, reportedly housed 88,560 liters of hazardous substances, including highly concentrated sulfuric and nitric acid. Speaking to journalists during an inspection of the site, the Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeye, described the discovery as deeply alarming. The NAFDAC DG said the person listed as the warehouse's owner is not recognized as a licensed chemical marketer, which she said raises further red flags about the nature of the business being conducted. In other news, the United Nations World Food Programme WFP says it will be forced to suspend all emergency food and nutrition aid for 1.3 million people in northeast Nigeria at the end of July. A statement signed by the WFP country director for Nigeria, David Stevenson, said the decision was due to critical funding shortfalls, which comes at a time of escalating violence and record levels of hunger in the country. The statement said without immediate funding, millions of vulnerable people will face impossible choices such as enduring increasingly severe hunger, migration, or possibly risking exploitation by extremist groups in the region. And now we move to business. A journalist, Olaleko Ige, says the emergency rule has slowed down development in the state. Ige, the editor of the state-based newspaper Independent Monitor, spoke on Nigeria Info FM's Talking Figures, warning that Rivers State will need to be more deliberate about attracting investments considering how neighboring states like Akwa Ibom and Bayelsa states are rising.
State of emergency has not done the state any good. It has the spiral effect of affecting almost every other sector. When a government awards a contract, say for example, to build a school, you know what spirals out of that? You are going to be buying wood, you are going to be buying roofing sheets, you are going to be buying blocks, you are going to be buying cement, you are going to employ laborers. Those that are work site will need to eat. Naturally, those who cook, mama put will also move towards that direction. Water will be sold, then workers will be able to get money across, to their children to go to school. You see.
And now we move to entertainment. Nigerian singer Wizkid has surpassed 9 billion streams across all credits on Spotify. He has now become the first African artist to hit this milestone on the platform. In sport, striker Alexander Isak was not named in Newcastle's squad for their pre-season tour of Asia. On the international scene, a passenger plane carrying nearly 50 people crashed in a remote spot in Russia's far eastern region of Amur on Thursday, with no immediate signs of survivors. The aircraft, a twin-propeller Antonov 24 operated by Angara Airlines, was headed to the town of Tinder from the city of Blagoveshchensk when it disappeared from radar. Videos published by Russian investigators showed what appeared to be columns of smoke billowing from the wreckage of the plane in a dense forested area. Rescuers in helicopters saw no evidence of survivors, local rescuers said, as the Amur region's civil defense agency said it was dispatching a ground team to the scene. Now on the news this afternoon, you heard Ahoda East CSO Chief of Staff have denied facing attempted murder charges over assault on administrator. Port Harcourt socialite Seymour has apologized and offered settlement after viral assault claim by 5 women. The UN is to suspend food aid in northeast Nigeria over funding shortfall. On the foreign scene, a plane carrying about 50 people has crashed in Russia. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwusu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyali. Many thanks for listening.